The poem I have today with me is Sailing to Byzantium, written by William Butler Yeats. I have already made a video on the Second Coming, written by W.B. Yeats, and therein I have talked in detail about the life and the kind of poetry Yeats used to write. So, here we will not go in detail in those things, and straight away I'll come to the poetry. Sailing to Byzantium. It was first published in 1928 in The Tower. The Tower is the only collection of poetry written by Yeats. This poem is written in Ottava Rima. What is Ottava Rima? I have already made a video on that, and there you can go and search in my playlist. You will get a detailed view of Ottava Rima. But here in short, for my viewers, I'll tell you it is an 8-line stanza written in iambic pentameter with rhyme scheme AB, 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 and CC. So, this poem, as the title itself says, Sailing to Byzantium, it is talking about the ancient city of Byzantium. Now, where is Byzantium? So, today, when you will check out the world map, you will not find any place titled Byzantium. So, we will have to go a little back in the history, and Byzantium has got another name, that is Constantinople. Now, does that ring a bell? Oh, yes. Constantinople is the same Constantinople which was captured in 1453 by Ottoman Turks, and thereafter that led to the advent of Renaissance in Europe, because when Turks burnt all the manuscript and the scholars fled away from Constantinople, they spread throughout Europe and a new awakening or Renaissance was brought throughout Europe. So Byzantium and Constantinople is the same place. Constantinople was actually a great king, and on his name only Byzantium took its name as Constantinople. And now when you will check out the world map, you will find the place which was Constantinople as Istanbul. So your Byzantium or Constantinople is the present day Istanbul. So here I am showing you a museum from Istanbul. This was an old church and mosque, but now it has been turned into a museum in Istanbul, and this is the landmark or the basic feature of or the basic monument of Byzantium. Now, moving on to the poem. The poem is divided into 4 stanzas. Here, this is the first stanza. You see, we have already talked that the poem is written in Ottava Rima. So you see this has got 8 lines. This stanza has got 8 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. And this is the first stanza. It says, that is no country for old men. That is no country for old men. What country? Obviously the country where Yeats is living at present. And that is Europe. That is England. So he's talking about England. England is no country for old men. See, when Yeats was writing this poem, he was very old enough at that time. He was 60 years plus of age. And we have already talked about Yeats, that Yeats was not very comfortable with the modernization of the society, and he has seen the repercussions of war, and that's why he felt that the society is deteriorating, and that's why he feels that the cultural loss which he sees all around him, and he feels that he is not a fit in this society, in this cultural loss of the society, and that's why he says that this country is not a place for old people like him. So we'll move into the lines. The young in one another's arms. So why it is not the country for old men? Why? Because the young people are not caring about the old people. They are busy in sensual pleasures. They are busy in one another's arms. And birds in the trees. What are birds doing in the trees? Birds in the trees, those dying generations, at their song. So which is this dying generation? Obviously the young generation, this new generation which is coming, this generation is deteriorating, it is crumbling down, it is shattering. And what are the birds doing? Birds are in the trees singing the song, the tune, the melody of this present age, this age which is the age of capitalism, this age, the age which is the age of consumerism. So Yeats does not like all this which is going around him, this materialistic world, and that's why he wants an escape from this age, from this place, from this world, basically from this country where he's living at this present time. Moving on to the fourth line, he says the salmon falls. What is salmon? This is salmon. Salmon is a kind of fish. You see, this is salmon. And the mackerel crowded seas. What is mackerel? Mackerel is another kind of fish. So you see, this is salmon here, this is mackerel, and it says that salmon and mackerel are crowding the seas, crowding the waterfalls. So everywhere there are breeding, birth. There is fish, flesh, or fowl. They commend all summer long. Means throughout the summer days, fish are being born, flesh are being born. Flesh means animals, human beings, anything. Fowl. Fowl is birds. So be it birds, be it fish, be it flesh, everything is taking birth. Whatever is begotten, born and dies. But we have to keep in mind that anything which takes birth, one day it has to die. You see, it's very close to Indian philosophy and Indian Upanishadic philosophy. You see, whatever take births dies one day. So this is the our roundabout circle of life, where we take birth and then finally we die, and that is the inevitable truth, that is the truth or reality of life. But we forget it when we are caught in this world of pleasure, of moha and maya as we call it. So we forget about the eternal truth, and that is death. So caught in that sensual music, all neglect. So we are caught in this sensual music, this materialistic music of this world, and we neglect monuments of unaging intellect. So people who are aged, people who are old, although they are old, their wisdom is not getting old. Wisdom or knowledge is something which never gets hampered, which never gets old, or which never deteriorates. So he says that the old people are basically the people who are knowledgeable, who are carrying the wisdom of the world. But the people, the young generation, is so much caught in the sensual pleasures that they neglect the old people, the intellectual people of the age. Now we move on to the second stanza. This is the second stanza. Again, it is of 8 lines. An aged man is but a paltry thing. So he goes on to tell in detail about how an old man feels. He's an aged man and he feels as if he's a weak, sickling kind of thing, a paltry thing. And how does he look? What is his appearance? A tattered coat upon a stick. So he looks like just a lean and thin man, just like a stick on a stick is there dangling a torn, worn out, tattered coat. So he is very lean and thin and pale, and just like a coat which dangles on a stick, in the same way, just like a scarecrow. His appearance is like a scarecrow, coat dangling on a stick. Unless soul clap its hand and sing, and louder sing. But you see, what is this? Whatever the dress we are wearing or whatever our body is, that is just outer appearance. That is not eternal. What is eternal? Eternal is our soul. So even the body has become old, even the appearance has become shaggy, but the soul is happy, the soul is eternal, the soul is young, and soul is clapping its hand and singing louder, because for every tatter in its mortal dress, we are, what are we? We are just wearing a dress. The dress, actually here it is the metaphor. The dress is the metaphor for your body, human body, the body made up of flesh. It is mortal, it will die one day, but the soul is eternal, it will not die. So just as we change our clothes, in the same way we will change our body. So nor is there singing school but studying monuments of its own magnificence. Till now he was talking about the body as a mortal dress, and every or the old man as a stick on that or inside that mortal dress. But now he's saying that why this mortal dress or why this body wants to go to some other place. He wants to go to some other place because the place which he has chosen to go, there is no singing school as such. The schools which are singing here are singing sensual music. Earlier in the first paragraph only we have learnt about the birds singing about the tune of that age, and that age is singing the tune which is sensual. So nor is there singing school. The place where he is going, there is no singing school, but studying monuments of its own magnificence. But there are monuments, monuments which are very magnificent, very grand and full of grandeur, and he will get time to study there, to grow his intellect there, to study the ancient Greek and Roman civilization there, to study the monuments there. So that would not be a everyday tune, the modern tune which is being sung. The away from modernity, he would be studying ancient traditions. That's why he wants to go to somewhere else. And what is that place? Already he has said that that place is Byzantium. And he says at last, and therefore I have sailed the seas. So obviously from England he has come to Byzantium, sailing on the ships, sailing on the seas, and have come to the holy city of Byzantium. So therefore I have sailed the seas and come to the holy city of Byzantium. He is satisfied no more in England, and that's why he has sailed and come to Byzantium. Now we come to the third paragraph. After he has reached Byzantium, how does he feel there? O sages standing in God's holy fire. See, Byzantium was an ancient city of Greek civilization, of Roman civilization. So the monuments which he has already discussed about in stanza 2 have many sculptures there, many engravings there, and those are full up of gold mosaics. So, on those gold mosaics, sages have been encarved. Those encarvings show a holy fire which is burning. Obviously, fire signifies purity, because after fire, everything becomes pure. Anything which undergoes fire trial comes out to be even more purer. Just like if gold undergoes fire, it becomes even more pure. Or like for you have seen in Indian scriptures also, like Sita had to go through fire trial. Why? Because after going through fire trial, anything becomes even more purer, and if she stands fire trial, then she is the embodiment of purity. So here he has seen an engraving on those gold walls, on those mosaics of the gold wall made in Byzantium, and there the engraving is of holy fire and sages are standing around it. So that image he is giving here to us, that it is a very pictorial and vivid image of sages standing in God's holy fire, as in the gold mosaic of a wall, just like it has been engraved in the gold mosaic of the walls, come from the holy fire. So he wants those sages which are in sculptures, which are in gold mosaics on the wall, on the monuments of Byzantium. He tells them to come alive, to come to him, become one with the poet himself. So come out from the holy fire, burn in a gyre. Again, you see the word gyre, a circular kind of thing, a roundabout movement. See, everything is circular. The wheel of fortune is circular. The cycle of birth and death is circular. So if you have taken birth, you have to die. If you have seen good fortune, one day it may happen that bad things will occur to you, and again ultimately it will take a roundabout. So everything is in a kind of rotative movement, a kind of revolving movement. And again, if this civilization is coming to a kind of deterioration and a kind of disintegration, after its degeneration, again a fresh civilization may come. So again, this image of Jair's image is also seen in the second coming by Yeats. So he says, from that holy fire come out, and as if you have taken a birth again, just like a human beings take birth, and a roundabout motion starts from birth till death. In the same way, he says that just like that, you also take birth, come out from the gold mosaics of the wall, and become alive and be the singing masters of my soul. So he wants those sages, those engravings in the monuments to become alive and teach him, to preach him, because in this generation nothing of ancient is left. So only what is left is in the form of sculptures. So he tells those sages, those sculptures to come alive and teach him the lessons of the life, to and teach him, or to become the master of his soul. Consume my heart away, sick with desire. So his heart is sick with desire, just like everybody else, just like the spirit of the age, materialistic age. So he feels that he has also been bogged down by those same feelings, sick with desire. So he wants that his heart, which is heavy with desire, should be taken away by these holy masters. And the heart is also fastened to a dying animal. The body is dying, he has become aged, and one day or the other he is going to die. But the soul is eternal. So the soul is young, the soul is fresh, although the body is mortal. So the body is compared to a dying animal. It is, the body is given the metaphor of a dying animal which is going to die, which is on the verge of death. But the soul is young, and he says that my soul is tied to this dying animal, and that's why take me away from this. It knows not what it is. In this world, we don't know who we are, from where we have taken birth. It is, see, it is very mystic, it is very mm, mm, like mythological, or very mysterious in its lines. So you have to decipher, you have to drill hard in between the lines. And he says that we know not what it is. What is this life, why we are given this life, what is the significance of this life, we know not anything. It knows not what it is. And gather me into the artifice of eternity. And that's why, because he is unaware of his surroundings, he is unaware of his being, why is his existence there. So he says the best way is to become eternal. And how can he become eternal? He can become eternal only when he becomes one with the sculptures of the gold mosaics painted on the wall. And that's why he wants to become an artifice is like a work of art. So he wants to become one of those sculptures. So he tells the sages to come, to purify him, to take him away, and make him amongst, or make him stand amongst them, make him one of them, just like the gold mosaics of the wall. So here I have shown you this picture. This is again the picture from that same museum which I had shown earlier. See how the museum has been painted. This was the earlier way of painting and sculpture making. So from these images he says that the holy sages should come alive and make him one of them. So he wants to become one of the sculptures made or painted in these gold mosaics of the wall. Now we come to the last paragraph. Once out of nature, I shall never take my bodily form from any natural thing. So he says that he wants to get free from this cycle of birth and rebirth. Again, Indian philosophy. So once out of nature, once he becomes free from this nature, once he becomes free from this tattered dress, once he becomes one with the gold mosaic of the wall, he will never take any bodily form. He does not want to, like, we have got so many in Indian philosophy, we have got so many ideas of birth and rebirth, and we take like a human body takes so many births in their life. So in their life, or like in life after life. So here he says that he does not want to take all those births. He does not want to be associated with any bodily form, and he just wants to become that gold mosaic. But such a form, so he wants to take such a form just like as an Grecian goldsmiths make. So the buildings, the monuments which had been made by Greek goldsmiths, because it is all made up of gold. The interiors are all done in gold. Sometimes exteriors are also done in gold. So the Grecians, the Greek goldsmiths have made these walls, and he wants to become one of them. He wants to take a form of one of the gold sculptures there, and not to be associated with anything living, anything natural.
of hammered gold and gold enameling. Obviously, when he will become a gold sculpture, it would be hammered with gold, and there would be gold coating on him, gold enameling on him. And what will he do there? To keep a drowsy emperor awake, or set upon a golden bow to sing to lords and ladies of Byzantium. So he says that he wants to become either a kind of singing bird who is sitting on a golden bow, and anyone who is asleep or who is in kind of drowsy state, like he says, to keep a drowsy emperor awake. If their emperor comes who is feeling sleepy, anyone, XYZ, anyone who comes who is feeling sleepy, he would make them awake. So you see again the significance of singing songs. Till now, the song which is being singing in this modern generation is the song of sensuousness, the song of materialistic pleasures. But now he is trying to bring people to make people awake, to make people awake of their surroundings, to make them understand that the things that they are talking about or the way they are carrying out is not good. And that's why they are in a kind of, like, according to him, the people are in a kind of drowsy state, and he wants to wake them up from that state by becoming one of the gold sculptures, maybe a small bird who is singing on the who is sitting on the bow and singing. And to whom he will sing? Obviously, when he is in the ancient city of Byzantium and he is one of the gold mosaics there, so he would be singing to the lords and ladies of Byzantium, the people who are in Byzantium. And what will he sing about? Of past. Of what is past? Obviously, Yeats has seen the past. He has seen the ancient tradition. He has seen its glory. And obviously, he has also seen war and the deterioration. So, whatever he has gained from his experience of past, he will be telling them, he will be singing it out to them, or passing. What is the present time? What is happening around him? Or what is to come, or to come. Obviously he knows the future, that if in this way we are carrying out our life, someday or the other it will have its downfall. So he will sing to the people coming in Byzantium about the past, the present, and the future. So